Well, I don't know if I'm interested in it. It's not something I'm pursuing. I want our party to be better. I want this country to be better. In terms of, yeah, I think somebody will carry the torch of what I call actually pro-American republicanism. And I don't know who that necessarily will be. I'm focusing on the country first stuff. There's a lot of desire out there for something different. But look, if Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win. I think that's the most important. He cannot be president again.
The election is November 3rd, and it's been said that we won't know the results until days later. When do you think we'll know the results?
All right. Jimmy, you raise an important point, and I hope the American people understand it, because this is something I worry about. My view is every vote must be counted. For reasons which I don't have the time to get into tonight, you're going to have a situation, I suspect, in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, other states, where they are going to be receiving huge amounts of mail-in ballots. And unlike states like Florida or Vermont, they're not being able, for bad reasons, to begin processing those ballots until, I don't know, election day, or maybe when the polls close. That means you're going to have states dealing with perhaps millions of mail-in ballots. Here is my worry. What polls show and what studies have shown is that for whatever reason, Democrats are more likely to use mail-in ballots. Republicans are more likely to walk into polling booths on election day. It is likely that the first votes that will be counted will be those people who came in on election day, which will be Republican. And here is the fear, and I hope everybody hears that. It could well be, and I don't know what's going to happen, nobody does, but it could well be that at 10 o'clock on election night, Trump is winning in Michigan, he's winning in Pennsylvania, he's winning in Wisconsin, and he gets on the television and he says, "Thank you, Americans, for reelecting me. It's all over. Have a good day." But then the next day and the day following, all of those mail-in ballots start getting counted, and it turns out that Biden has won those states. At which point Trump says, "See, I told you the whole thing was fraudulent. I told you those mail-in ballots were crooked. And I got, we're not going to leave office." So that is a worry that I and a lot of people have. So the results, we don't know what's happened. Maybe the results will be on election day, but
Do you think elections are safe and free from manipulation? In the 2016 general election, having to correct a ballot happened about 1 time per 100 ballots voted. In 2018, it doubled, 2 times per 100 ballots voted. But why in 2020, in Maricopa County, Arizona, did it jump to 1 ballot out of just 10 ballots cast? The 2020 general election in Maricopa County, Arizona, shot to an astounding 20 to 24 times the historical average for ballot modifications. What is ballot modification? In 2020, it meant either a human or, for the first time in history, artificial intelligence by a computer modified your ballot. 1 ballot out of every 10 ballots cast versus 1 ballot out of every 100 ballots cast. Shocking, we know, but why? See for yourself. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, pioneer of full forensic audits, mounted the rally cry for Audit All 50 States, less than 2 weeks after the 2020 election. Now you can see firsthand what he was warning the world about. Our elections are broken. For the first time in American history, a full forensic audit, as innovated by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, was conducted. And now you, the American voter, get to see what has been hidden from you all these decades. Use this Q code or the URL on your screen to download for free the world's first complete data visualization project of how every single batch of ballots was handled in Maricopa County, Arizona. 99.36% of all ballot batches were modified. But why? Over 10,000 easy-to-understand charts condensed into a power-packed 2400 image package. Instant download. 235,367 individual ballots changed by either man or machine after they were voted? You want answers. You demand election transparency. Now, see the truth for yourself. Download this historic data visualization project absolutely free. Scan the Q code on your screen or go to the URL below. Open your eyes. Download this historic report now.
What madness is going on in Maricopa County, Arizona? 2,089,563 ballots were cast in 2020, yet Maricopa only turned over 1,911,918 ballots envelope signature images for Shiva analysis. Each envelope represents one ballot cast. That means 177,645 ballots are missing. Where are they? Maricopa said they forgot to load or misplaced 165,844 Election Day ballot images. There are still 11,801 ballots missing in an election, which was only won by a mere 10,500 votes. Really? Now see for yourself just how bad the Maricopa election maladministration is. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, pioneer of full forensic audits, now releases his third historic data visualization project. Part 3 in a series of 20 exposes this massive maladministration in Maricopa even further. Now you can see firsthand what he was warning the world about. Massive 14th Amendment and civil rights violation occurred in Maricopa County, Arizona. Download the early vote rejection report and compare it to the Shiva signature report and see the out-of-control election maladministration madness in Maricopa. Use this Q code or the URL on your screen to download for free the third data visualization project released in this expose series. Thousands upon thousands of voters in Maricopa were treated different under an arbitrary set of double standards regarding election rules and decisions. For example, 34,448 votes with a very unique problem. These votes were cast by 17,126 voters. They voted twice. That's a crime. How about this maladministration? Massive rejection of early votes for no or questionable signatures. Yet, at the end of the election, Maricopa approved thousands of votes with no signature at all. Double standards equal massive 14th Amendment violations. You want answers. You demand election transparency. Now see the truth for yourself. Download this historic data visualization project absolutely free. Scan the Q code on your screen or go to the URL below. Open your eyes. Download this historic report now.
Okay, guys, are you ready? You inspire me. I'm telling you that with what I do and broadcasting every day, I want you to know that you inspire me, right? By the way, shout out. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm not doing the normal radio program tonight. because you inspired me to do, Carlsbad, California, you inspired me to do just a unique program. And it was just chat we were having after the broadcast this morning, which by the way, even though it was just morning, it seems like days for me anyway. Okay, so Utah's in the house. Melinda says I should go up to Dallas. How'd she miss this? You'll see. Metro Detroit, Northeast Texas, Ohio in Rumble, Australia, Andover, Mass in Rumble, Aldine, New York. I think I've got that right. Let's go, Brandon. We're going to talk about this. Ohio, Sheridan, Texas, Sweetwater, Tennessee, Richmond, Virginia, Somerville, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Central Ohio, Alaska. Thank you very, very, very much. Fernandina Beach, Florida, just visiting. Maricopa, Mesa, in Arizona, Maricopa County. How you doing, Missouri? Waterville, Ohio, right? So I thank you for everybody for tuning in. I love nostalgia, right? I love nostalgia. And this morning, just talking about some things just brought back a nostalgic point in my life. And it reminded me of some of the great times I had helping launch and create this thing called the internet. And I'm gonna explain this to you that I'm gonna show you what's going on, etc. Let's see. Nokomis, Florida, Kissimmee, Florida, Virginia, Sugar Hill, Georgia, West Virginia, Philly Burbs, South Florida, PA, Cornhusker, and Tucson, Maumee. Am I saying right? Maumee, Ohio, etc., etc. How many pairs of glasses do I have? I have glasses in every room and all kinds of colors. And I used to wear actually colored glasses too. Rose-colored glasses, as weird as that sounds, right? So Beth, first time watcher, long time fan, you're going to like this. This is different than my normal program. This is literally just a walk down memory lane. And I want to explain to you kind of how it started, but I want to take you back to the time so you understand what was going on, okay? And so I had just written a book that was called The Oncoming Superhighway. And it was a book predicting the future about what this thing that we were hearing about was going to be, called the Information Superhighway. And by the way, I want to remind everybody watching, immediately following this show, minus a pee-pee break, got to have one of those, I am jumping over to my locals and I am doing a special presentation. We're going to discuss an Arizona AG subpoena. I'm just going to discuss one with you, one company. I'm going to explain to you how these things work, what kind of information you need, why we need to get things like these done, why the AG needs to do the subpoena, etc. And I'm going to take you in the inside of an investigation so you understand how we gather information, okay? And how all this works. So about this time, I had just finished doing a very large, I used to package people that had potential to be celebrities. And I was the young guy behind the scene that would figure out, okay, what can their product be? What can they be, et cetera. And I just finished one of those. And it was a bad experience. I built a household name, did almost $1 billion in sales. It was my third or fourth time helping build $1 billion company by that time. And I just got fed up because the person that I turned into a household name, when I met her, she was a housewife, nothing wrong with that, who made about $14,000 a year. And I knew she had it if she could just get past her arrogance and let me do what I do, just follow the rules. And basically, the first meeting was tragic. But her partners knew what I could do in my history. And I basically let them hang for a while. And I said, right in front of her, I said, when you get that bitch on a collar, true story, you let me know. She has what it takes. I'll come back and do it. So I let them sit for about a half a year. And then I got the deal done. And she became a household name. That's what you now know are in pop culture as Susan Powter Stopped the Insanity. And I had done that gig, and I said, I no longer want to deal with creating celebrities or anybody, because she told me one day, going from nothing to that $14,000 a year housewife to her first check from the time I started in September, getting her on national TV, a full flat run, got her on TV by December, which you need to do mid-December. First check coming in March for her was $4.4 million. And then from there, she became a household name. And I remember her telling me one day, when we're on to infomercial 3 or whatever, she didn't like me directing her anymore of what we're going to do, how we're going to handle it. Told me, I am a fucking star. You will treat me like a fucking star. And that's when I said, when you can't remember where you came from and who actually did it with her investors and people, I said, I'm done packaging celebrities. I'm done with it. And so what I did is I went to my family ranch and just raised cattle and stuff. And during that time, one of my young ranch hands, kid only about 13 years old, kind of introduced me to a BBS, right? He was trying to raise money for a computer for his house. And I said, let me see what this is. And so that's what evolved into me writing this book about the information superhighway. And people were coaxing me to get back into the television business. I didn't want to do it. So I made a guy come down to my ranch who was really pestering me to get him back in the television business or get him on TV. And I made him get knee deep in cow shit and work with me and, do all my vetting. And I'm running him through the shoots and everything. And then I decided, okay, I'll do it. And what you're going to see here is kind of the end result of that, because I got back into it. I started dabbling in it. And about that time, AOL, you remember AOL. AOL was getting pretty big. And everybody kind of paid by the minute. And so in 92, when we talked about it, first off, 90, Tim Berners-Lee had just kind of did this research and figured out how we would navigate this thing. And in 91, CERN introduces the World Wide Web to the public. 92, you heard the first audio and video, little bitty scratchy stuff with the phrase surfing the internet. You'll hear that later. That's where this comes from. By 93, there were 600 websites. The White House went online. United Nations went online. Mark Andreessen developed the Mosaic web browser, if you remember that, at University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana. There were 2,000 computers connected to this thing that wasn't the internet, that became the internet. And then by this time right now, there were 2 million. Now there's many more than that, but that's what happened. And so I'm right at the cusp of this and decided to get into it. And then the browser wars were born. A few things happened at that exact time. Netscape came out. Some of you may not know this. It's before you were born. Netscape came out, and Microsoft had introduced Windows 95, and they're about to enter the browser wars. And then there were two guys out in Stanford University, by the way, Jerry Yang, Dave Philo, that created what was called Yoo-Haw, or Yoo-Hoo. It was originally called Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web. That's how bad it was at marketing, right? And so then up pops CompuServe and America Online and Prodigy. That's kind of what the internet was. You could do limited things. You could check weather. You could check, like, you couldn't book flights. You could look up maps, etc. And about that time, a few things come into being, not in the iterations you know now. CompuServe, American Online, Prodigy, Amazon.com. Bezos was one of the first people I had interviewed back then and talked about. Craigslist, and eBay goes live. eBay is only a San Francisco project. Okay. And one of the first people I had in, Mark Cuban, was AudioNet. We talked about the first site, which was Match.com, which was exclusively porn back then, right? And it started going. And that's where you get the little dancing baby, that little dancing baby video. That's where it headed. And what had just happened is Blockbuster's trying to save itself. And Reed Hastings had the idea of, we got to do this thing where we could send users DVD by mail. That was what you know as Netflix. You would send you the DVD. So let me show you some of the advertising of what it looked like back then, okay? Let me show you what it looked like back then. Here you go.
A friend of mine told me, try AOL Canada. I said, why? I've got a computer. He said, try it. You'll see. It's simple. Every time you sign on, welcome. It tells you if you've got mail. You've got mail. Want to send some email? Type the message, click here, and it's done. I like this. With one click, I can browse all kinds of great features on AOL Canada. I've gotten help with my golf swing, planned my next vacation, even sampled the latest new sounds from Much Music. AOL Canada has over 100 newspapers and magazines, everything from Business Week Online to Cycle World, and I can browse them all. With AOL Canada, you can point and click your way across the internet, and their web browser makes it easy to explore the World Wide Web. Call the toll-free number and you'll receive your free startup kit with everything you need to get online. It's worth a try. You'll see.
Call 1-800-709-6633 now for your free AOL Canada startup kit with free software. It's everything you need to get online, so call today, 1-800-709-6633.
We're too young to remember. Everything was online. It doesn't mean what it means today. It basically means you paid for service by the minute to access somebody else's server to retrieve information. If you notice in those commercials, there were not photos. And you notice when he talked about music, he said you can access the latest sounds. You couldn't do a whole song. It was totally impossible, right? Even years and years past this, 10 years before there was Facebook, you used to have to send in your photo to your internet service provider. They would scan it in, which was a big piece of equipment, and they could put it on a web page for you. That's how bad it was, okay? You couldn't do anything. Now, I pointed to that commercial. They said, hey, it tells you, you've got mail. That was the driving sales factor at that time because people were trying to use email, but they could never remember to check their computers. Now you can't forget to take your damn phone out of your hand, right? So I'm taking you through the beginning of this. This is what Microsoft kind of looked like at the time. Now, for those of you that aren't old enough to remember, just a fair, decent computer was going to set you back $5,000. And it did very little, right? Several megs of memory, that was it, or hard drive. Did you see how the pictures came in? They went boom, 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 boom. That's not an edit effect. That's how the pictures, we had to wait for the pictures to render. And instead of it just clicking, it was there, it would go kink, 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 and start rendering on the page. Half of that commercial was confusing graphics that they put in to make it look cool because the computers wouldn't do that. So that 3D brain scan and stuff, they wouldn't do that. It was a little bit of fudging on the marketing then. It was predominantly gray pages out there. Jump 1 year from that, and here's what Microsoft looked like and was promoting.
Computers, they're like a tutor. They help you learn.
Guess what I want to look up today? Spiders. Do you like spiders?
We looked in ancient Egypt at their cities.
I play chess.
Cool, I found a shark.
That's gotta hurt.
It's cool to be smart.
I believe that if you really go out and do exactly what you want to do, you find happiness.
If you can do what you love, that's incredible.
Anybody that says that one person can't make a difference is wrong.
I'm Simon Woodruff, and what I do is Yo Sushi. Technology for us is about learning our own business. Nobody in their right mind would open a restaurant if you look at the figures. We have to find a new supplier for seaweed. Just a very quickly seared tuna. I don't actually come from a restaurant background. I come with an open mind.
So, again, if you weren't alive during that era, you see the kids were, I could read something. It really was nothing more than a glorified electronic encyclopedia. You may have to look up that word if you don't know what an encyclopedia is, if you're too young, but you could do it. You know, you saw the kid that clicked on the video, goes, oh, wow, a shark. Let me put it into perspective for you. You couldn't click and play them. You could click it. You could download it to your computer. It would take about 15 minutes for a 30-second commercial, and it would eat up about 1/3 of your hard drive. So very few people actually really did it because it could eat up your computing space. So are you with me? Okay. So what happened is I basically went back into television, and a large radio network, which happened to be ABC Radio Network, with their broadcasting group, Susquehanna, knew that, hey, you've built all these big companies, you've done all these cool things. Do you think you can make people listen to radio by using TV? They knew I was a TV guy. And I said, of course I can. Now, this was a radio, a major market in Dallas-Fort Worth, which is the 5th largest market in the United States. And it was like the 3rd top talk radio market in the United States. And I love talk radio. I was a regular guest, so they knew about me. And so I created for them an infomercial about radio, using the TV to get people to remember to turn on their radio and watch. And in about 4 weeks' time, they went from way down in the ratings, shot to the top of the market, just boom, right? Shot to the top of the market. Well, naturally, being a marketing guy, I couldn't get a piece of ABC radio station or Susquehanna stations or anything like that. And so I made a deal. You know, they paid for the production at a very cheap cost because I was a hired gun. And I said, I'll take 2 hours. I'll take 2 hours on the dial. And I don't want to talk politics. I was never political. But I will talk about this thing called the internet, because I was in the process at that time. I had literally cratered America Online's business. They were the big juggernaut, the biggest company out there. And I had partnered with a group of investors who brought me in again as a hired gun, because this internet thing was coming. And we had to have a hook that was different than everybody else. So instead of paying by the minute, we innovated $19.95 a month. Pay a flat fee, use it all you freaking want. And where AOL had 2 or 3 or maybe 3 or 4,000 users in the Dallas-Fort Worth marketplace, I decided to teach people what this internet thing was. And so I shot a television show, an infomercial, that I modeled off of the series, which was the hottest television series at the time, which was Friends. So I recast characters like Friends. And through those friends, you learned about this cool thing called the internet. And why would you pay AOL when you could have it all for $19.95 a month? And the thing took off like an absolute juggernaut. We ultimately ended up going public, another big deal, but that's not the point. So that's why the radio station asked me about it. And I said, okay, give me 2 hours. I'm going to talk about this thing called the internet. And they said, you're going to do like, what are you going to talk about the internet? And I said, I think I can make the internet hip and cool. If I can make it hip and cool for TV, I can make it hip and cool on radio. So I started talking about this thing called the net and the radio. And I took my cast of characters, which was like Friends, which were really true geeks, right? My head CTO, brilliant guy, but he could look at 2 different people at one time, if you know what I mean, with a wandering eye. I forget what that's called. Brilliant, genius guy. Built most of the networking backbone that the internet works on today. We had a hell of a run. But as I started doing that and breaking all kinds of radio numbers in radio, shooting up to the top of radio records, kicking the dog crap out of, I'm doing this little show about computers and I'm kicking the shit out of the big network shows like Howard Stern. But I go, I got to turn this into a TV show. So what I did, and it's funny, when I say Howard Stern, you think seeing him on video and you think seeing him talking. I taught him that. He was just radio. And so what I needed to do is I needed to figure out how can I turn a radio program into a television program. So we put cameras in the studio. It was so taboo that we had to get in 6 hours before each show, put up all the equipment, take it all down and clean it out because the other hosts were bitching about stuff being there. That's how snobby they were about this internet thing. And a guy came in and set up his little rack to make sure the stream could go out over the internet. And that was the first station. And that guy was Mark Cuban, which was AudioNet, which you'll see on this, which became broadcast.com, which eventually became Yahoo. So I'm going to take you through a retrospective of how we did this. And it took off so big that my little bitty show went gangbusters. And then Microsoft came to me and says, we got to kick the shit out of Netscape. Can you help us turn it into our product, Internet Explorer? And there was still one young struggling company out there that just wasn't getting anywhere. And in fact, you could have bought it a couple of years later after this time. You could have bought it for about $300,000 because they were in debt. And you could have just bought them out. But nobody could understood what it could do. But that company, you've heard of them, it was Google. So here we're going to go for the first little, I got 4 little breaks for you, 4 pits here. This is what we looked like packaging this thing called the internet for television. Major television markets. Think about television now, how fractured it is. 1 out of every 2 people with television sets in the market were watching us teach them about this thing coming called the internet. Here we go.
It started as a radio program, helping people learn about computers. Then along came Mark Cuban and AudioNet. Suddenly the little radio program gained an internet-hungry national and international following, fueled by wild fans and the phenomenal ratings of the radio show, which could also be listened to over the internet, completed the technology trifecta, and became a TV program as well. All live and broadcast at the very same time around the globe. The program Net Talk Live became television syndication history, airing on ABC, CBS, NBC, the WB, Comedy Central, the Nashville Network, PBS and other national and international networks. The following presentation is a 24-year retrospective, looking back at Net Talk Live, from the very first TV broadcast, which was aired from within a traditional radio studio. Through its phenomenal growth, into its own broadcast studio with a live audience, and onto a massive broadcasting juggernaut, pioneering a new and inventive way to produce and air multi-platform media. For context, as we begin this historical look back, please remember, there was no Wi-Fi, no cable or satellite internet. MP3s had just been invented. Steve Jobs had just gone back to work at Apple. Nintendo 64 had just come out and only 1% of the world could use the internet.
Live from Dallas, Texas, it's the world's first triple cast. Watch on Hot TV KDFI Channel 27, the live broadcast from the studios of 570 KLIF Radio, and sent worldwide via AudioNet. It's Net Talk Live with Cyber Babe and your co-host Laura Lewis, PC Man John Stewart, Super Geek Doug Davis, News Flash David Sanders, cyber reporter Scott Kelton Jones, and your tour guide to the internet and host of Net Talk, Jovan. It's Net Talk Live, brought to you by DFW Area Web, Dallas-Fort Worth's hottest internet website directory, and the 1-800-BE-A-GEEK Company, Internet America, Texas's largest, fastest, and friendliest internet service provider. So boot up your computer, grab your mouse, and join in the fun, learning about the internet and the World Wide Web.
Well, folks, here we are. We did it. You are watching now and listening to Net Talk Live, the world's very first triple cast. And what that means is you can watch us on Hot TV 27, or you can tune in on the radio on 570 KLIF, or you can listen right over the internet thanks to AudioNet at www.audionet.com. I'm not the only one that does this. Of course, we have Cyber Babe. We affectionately refer to as Cyber Babe, Laura Lewis.
Cyber babe. Hey, you know what? I know people out there that are watching or even listening for the first time. You just laid out a heck of a lot of verbiage there that they're going, huh? And so basically my role, folks out there, if this is your first time listening or tuning in to the television show, is to try to interpret what Jovan just said.
But we have other help here during the show. We have the man that's going to answer all the real tough technical questions. We have super geek Doug Davis. Hey, Doug, how's it going? Actually, now I got sound on you. I didn't have sound on you for a minute there. That's kind of one of the great things about being live. Is one small step for man, and one giant leap for mankind. Over there we have PC man John Stewart. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
And this pretty cool brand new person, should we say, here participating in the show. It's his very first show here, and we've got a very special tune to introduce him. His name is Gadget Guy, and because the gadget is the fun stuff, and he kind of has, should we say, kid-like fun, teaching people how to use these gadgets and stuff that you can use on your computers and over the
technology,
internet.
yes.
He is definitely a techno head, but we came up with a very good intro for him. It's a one-time intro, but here's a very special music for him.
I can't wait. What is it?
Yeah, we had to kind of do that for him, but we call him Gadget Guy Dave Matthews. Hey, Dave.
Hello, it's Dave who likes to push his own button.
He even looks like a cartoon.
Be quiet, Peaches.
Oh, we got you. And of course, that's Phil Harvey over there chiming in every now and then saying, hey, web freak Phil Harvey trying to do that, should we say, wacky, whacked out dance there. Anyway, so Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jovan.
Message. So let's go over to chat chick Joette Rhodes. Joette, how would you answer this question for Ron Hall?
Okay, Ron, what you need to do is you need to go to the File menu and click on Setup. And in the space next to IRC Server, just type in irc.nettalklive.com, then click on Add Server. Now select this new server and click on Connect.
I was just laughing, Joette. I'm sorry. Scott was giving you the eye over there. We caught you, Scott.
Well, I guess the obvious thing is to go to the Met site because I've been accused of being kind of sexist a little bit on the, like I'm looking at girls, whatever. And so basically at the Met site, we've got a special offering this week. Tim Rogers, that's Mr. Funny Guy. And if we could scroll down the screen just a little bit. Oh yeah.
Gosh!
At Le Bear this past Monday, he actually it was 2 Mondays ago. He went to amateur night and he shook his groove thing. And
we've got only a new personality in the show. He's kind of a Windows 95 expert, a Microsoft expert. He is our very own, we call him Webhead. His name is Mark Markham.
Where is he anyway?
Let's kind of show Mark Markham there. He's our Webhead. Hey, how's it going, Mark? We got you live?
We got to punch his button in there.
There he is.
Get real close.
I have to use the right finger.
I have to, Mark, you have to look up here at us. We have to give Mark his due. Turn that camera back on Mark. Mark, you and Jeff and Brandon did an excellent brand new Net Talk site.
Thank you.
Here on Net Talk Live, we're here to teach you everything you need to know about the internet and how to use it. And I have a partner in crime, and I have to tell you, she's just a pussycat. Hey, Laura.
Hey.
You look great.
What does she say? She says in that movie, be gentle.
You got to kind of show him. Look at that.
Oh, be gentle with me. It's my first time. That's that movie. I was watching it all day long trying to get that line right.
Oh, that's
anyway,
great.
What do you think, guys?
No, you look absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
We have our very own gadget guy, Dave Matthews. Hey, Dave.
Greetings, Batman.
So, Dave, what exactly are you?
I am not just a Klingon, but a very special Klingon, a static Klingon.
A static Klingon. So what is that, a hanging dish? You got a sock and and what is that?
I'm Bounty Fresh with my dryer.
Well, here we are, folks. Welcome to the first annual Net Talk Live Christmas Party. We're broadcasting live from Communication Expo in Addison. because we busted fire code down here at Communication Expo. That's where we're broadcasting from. We've got all these people stuck outside because they can't get into the building because we have busted fire code, Laura. What do you think about that? Thanks, guys. We're going to get back with you.
I think. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is our Christmas party at Communication Expo, and we're just having a big time. Are y'all having fun out here or what? Yeah? All right.
You know what we're doing is during the broadcast, we're giving away over $30,000 worth of computer software and hardware.
It's very funny to go back in time. So let me set a few things with you. The mask was Worf in Star Trek, which was black. And so it was a black face by default. I see people commenting on that. Big deal. That last scene you saw was the first time we really knew that we were on to something big. We'd been doing the radio show. I turned it into a television show. We had to all do it on our own. And so when you see my computer guys, those were security cameras. It was far too expensive because nobody shot with 10 cameras, right? So we had 3 roving cameras and 7 permanent cameras. Nobody shot television that way. And so I had to trick it with devices, and I literally did it with closed circuit television cameras. And so the thing took off. We go into the field for the first time. That was, you saw in December in Dallas, Texas, there were ice everywhere. Everything was shut down, but there were still thousands and thousands and thousands of people that came to the event to see it live. Fire marshal comes in, want to shut us down. I said, man, I'm doing a live, it's 2 hours. I did 2 hours, live 2-hour broadcast. There's no way you can shut me down. My partner in doing this was Fox Television. Fox at the time had In Living Color. That was their only original content at the time. I come in with my original content, anchoring it, and boom, the thing just took off. And so you remember, you saw the guy in the corner, Scott, my cyber reporter. Scott was truly a natural at it, really good. Looks a lot like Kid Rock. Would always come either stoned or drunk to the thing. He never let it down that I replaced him eventually when we jumped network, mainly for issues I won't discuss. But he got pissed off because I replaced him with a puppet. And so that's one of the guys that started writing bad articles about me. And you know that little guy in the leopard suit? Well, when you see anything in Dallas written bad about me, it is that guy, Tim Rogers. And that's the one that puts out that stuff. 1, because I'd never let him on the show. 2, because D Magazine wanted me. They came to me to help build them, like the radio and everything else. And I said, I'd be glad to help you. Got a contract with me. And they said, no, you should just do it because we're D Magazine. That was their attitude. And I said, no. And I left. And that's why they continually write bad about me today. Right. And so I'm going to show you some of the, now what we're going to do. And this is when Fox was just born. Right. And Russ Martin. Yep. Russ Martin was on the Eagle, KEGL. You'll see later on Georgia Foy, who was Fridas in the Russ Martin show. That's my co-host. And she did Russ Martin in the mornings and then my program in the evening. We were having a real good time, a fantastic time doing this. And so now I'm going to take you through. I think I told you the story about this next segment. You're going to see Luis. Now, I said this earlier. Luis was a fan that watched the show. You could email me, right? We could talk to people during the show. Chat hadn't really started or anything like that. There was IRC, which is quite different than you have messaging now. But this guy kept on saying, you quit talking about Max. You won't talk about Max. You won't talk about Max. And so I decided to add created a position for him because I thought he was a nice looking fellow. He's very smart, very astute at a Mac. And it would allow me to pit Mac computers against PC computers and have some dynamics in the shows. I brutalized the hell out of them. And as you've probably heard me say before, as we put them off in this little cubby, and when we go to the Mac Minute, which is all I gave him to begin with in 2 hours, a Mac Minute, every time he'd start to do it, and he couldn't tell, he just has to do the segment. Okay, you're live, go. And he'd be doing his segment. We would turn off the sound, play crickets, or mock the shit out of him while he was doing it. He was so good at what he did, and I loved him so much, I turned him into a main character. Now, by the way, a lot of these people still work with me to this day. We're an incredible team, have done many things together. That's why, people have been around me 30 years. So if you look at my people in my organization, we've been together decades. It's not new stuff. So I want to show you what I believe is the single funniest bit we ever did. Now, Luis is like Ricky Ricardo, Puerto Rican. Nice looking fellow, exceptionally smart, and just fit, truly fit, and lean. And he lived in a part of town in Dallas, Oak Lawn, Turtle Creek, known for being the gay area at the time. And he had these 3 Chihuahuas. And I always gave him hell about that. So finally said, bring him up to the show. And so I'm going to show you this segment where we did it. We played like it wasn't real. We played like we taped a camera to his Chihuahua. And then his Chihuahua came after me. Right? Absolutely, I believe one of the funniest little skits we did. I got tons of hate mail because people believed we taped right, a camera to this dog. Watch this. I love this.
Luis brought, we make fun of Luis and his 3 Chihuahuas, and it's probably because if you're familiar with Dallas, he's usually down in Oak Lawn wearing his bathing suit, walking his 3 Chihuahuas. No.
That is so funny you said that. That is so funny you said that because I specifically do not walk him when it's daylight. For that very reason. The single guy living at home with a house with Chihuahua. Nah.
This is our official Chihuahua cam. See this?
I like it.
It's a Chihuahua cam, and we're going to send Spike around in the studio with the Chihuahua cam.
No way.
Duct tape.
All right, we're back in segment 7. It's about
What is that song?
We're getting ready with the Chihuahua cam. There, Luis.
there we go.
Is getting ready to mount the camera, the Chihuahua cam to old Spike there. This is the official right here Chihuahua cam that we have on Spike.
He's not very happy, Jovan.
What's wrong with Spike, Luis?
He doesn't like the duct tape, and he has a really bad habit when he gets really mad, Jovan.
He has a what?
A bad habit.
And what's that bad habit?
I don't want to tell you. Just don't get him mad, okay?
And get him mad in what?
Oh, no.
Oh, man. What did he do to my shoe?
I told you not to get him mad, Jovan.
What is that? Oh, man. Look at that.
Bad dog, Spike. Actually, wait, good dog, Spike.
That is horrible.
Oh, my guys. You guys. Oh,
come here, Spike. Come here.
Get him out of here.
Good boy. Yeah.
We had the most fun. It was a fantastic time, right? I got just tons of email and stuff. We had already hit the charts because I released the Star Report about Bill's spill on Monica's dress, right? Back then. And the show is just cranking and cranking and cranking and taking off. And that little bit that we did where we had that all those people outside, well, that was right outside of the big Texas headquarters where the president at the time ran the office. And he saw my little show and said, sent the people over, and I made a deal with Microsoft. And, Microsoft is the big one you want to hook to run the show, any show. And if you got landed Microsoft as a sponsor, you just grew big. And none of the ad agencies would let Microsoft touch us. And so I just kind of sat down with them and said, here's the deal. I said, you know my background. You know what I've done. You've seen the show. You see the people that show up. I know you have contracts with the ad agency, but let's just call it promotions. you're going to pay me to do promotions. You're not going to advertise in me. And they go, what do you mean? I said, I'll use Internet Explorer in my browser on the air. I'll do all this other stuff. They agreed to it. And we jumped from the radio studio to our own studio with a live audience. All those wires and stuff, we had to break up and down every damn time. Everybody, all the other radio hosts were pissed at us because, of course, everybody's talking and we're on TV and they're like, ugh. And so it just became so testy of egos. We just literally got our own studio. And so I had a live studio audience. You could come in and watch, and we do our show. The one thing you need to know about our show, nothing's scripted. It's just like when I talk to you every day or talking to you now. Nothing is scripted. Not reading a script, not anything. It's just go and make it happen. And so now I'm going to take you into, we've now jumped. We're now looped up around the world. We got, I think it's some ridiculous number, like 400 million homes around the globe. What you need to know is, because this internet thing was happening and the television networks are still trying to figure out, what do we do with this thing called the internet? I already knew, number one, it was going HD. So we were the very first television series in HD. And we already knew how to throw it out to the satellites and get it around the world. So we were all over the Middle East, right? The only show that beat us in the Middle East in ratings, Walker, Texas Ranger. And so when Super Bowl was on in the Middle East, the lead in for Super Bowl would be my show, and the lead out would be Walker, Texas Ranger, all over. And you could watch my show and me in Chinese. Here's why. It was illegal for anybody to do computers or have anything to do in China with the internet, because China wanted nothing to do with it, but they knew it was coming. They knew their people needed to know about it. And China as a country is still trying to figure it out. So they actually picked up my show, right? Because we're cranking out the stuff, teaching people computers, and they're manufacturing most of the stuff. I was the only approved American show to run in China, and they would dub me over in the different dialects in Mandarin. You want to? I'm word enough as it is, but you should see me in Mandarin. So it's everywhere around the globe. Tons of stations. Most markets I'm following. If you remember, politically incorrect. So there's news and politically incorrect, and it's just a ratings juggernaut. Here's what it looks like when we jump to the studio.
All right, guys, here we are at the Dallas West End with Net.
Hang on. Okay, stop. I got to go back. This, what it's going to start with before you see the studio is you're going to see the night we jumped national. I'd been a local show. And then I announced, okay, I'm coming out, not that way, I'm coming out and I'm going to do the brand new format. Everybody loved the new format. And I decided to go back in the field. So we did one in December, and I come right back in March, right? Right back in March. And I'm doing another live event. That first event was so big that everybody talked about it. And now I had Microsoft behind me that, boom, here we come in March, and I'm doing a live event. This is downtown Dallas, the place formerly known as the West End. It's kind of gone away. At the time, Reunion Arena, where the Mavericks played, would hold just about 38,000, 40,000 people. I did this live on the street. They had no concept. They had to bring in additional 150 police to work it. We had 44,000 people to show up and watch our gang do it. We did it again. Not only were the streets locked down, but part of it was in a building where we put the geeky guys where we do it. We're doing a whole link up live remote. They shut down that building too because the floors started to creak in their 5 levels because there were so many people there. But that's how fast this thing took off. And so what you're about to watch is when we jump national, and we've got good backing, and Microsoft takes a bet on me that we can turn this into a big national show. So you're going to see our leap from a live, tons of people, to getting us in a studio. Here we go.
All right, guys, here we are at the Dallas West End with Net Talk Live. Woo! Having fun. Look at the people. They're packed up. We got them all in the mall. We got them all out here on the stage, having fun. Let me tell you what we're doing. If your people are at home and you're not down here at the West End, and you're not getting to participate in what we're doing here, what we have going on is the largest internet gathering, the largest gathering of internet users ever put together anywhere in the world. Right here, Dallas, Texas. So joining us today, we have Dan Matthews. Dan's is kind of sitting in our web head position tonight. We're going to let him put on the test. Hey there, Dan. How's it going?
Very good. How you doing?
So let's tell people what's going on with when it says there's a security hole. First off, what's Java? And then, have you heard about this security hole in Java? I've heard it before in other items, but what about in Java?
Java is a little more secure than ActiveX, unfortunately, but it is still a very solid, or it's a pretty solid program. Basically, it's another programming language that allows you to get a hold of more features than you would normally have with a traditional browser. I'm lost here. I'm sorry.
So, a 56K modem's blasting along all the way down in East BFE. There's a little bit of noise. And that little bit of noise.
Dave, where is that city again, Dave?
It's
Can we say that on TV, Dave?
Pahrump, Nevada. that's an acronym for Nevada. Pahrump, I'm sure. Anyway, way far down the line, this is going to be a good show. Stay tuned. Way far down the line, a little bit of noise can be introduced. And because of this, they limited it to 53K.
Guys in Master Control, please keep the camera on Dave. Dave, where's that city again?
That is right here, Pahrump, Nevada.
The next one is called Blowfish, and we'll go ahead and check that out. If we click on Blow...
This is one of the categories?
This is one of the categories.
Does that say what I think it says?
And it says fish don't...
Why don't fish fart? Guys, are y'all like planning this or something?
You know, I apologize to all those of you that have been following this wholesome Net Talk Live show for the past 2 years, because tonight it has gone steadily downhill. And it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere up soon, so just feel free to turn off your TV right now. It's just not going to get any better.
Oh, I guess if Dave can say BFE on TV, Laura can say fart.
I got one for you, Jovan. Do you know that horses, nor rabbits, can vomit? It's true.
That's good.
Okay, that's enough. I want Lisa, our floor director, to come out here, and I want you to check these guys' mugs, and I want you to find what the crew has filled our mugs with for this broadcast. Luis, smell it. Is there something in there? You are sick.
We've been teaching you a lot of different things, so I decided to get the show back in control. So I started with Luis, where we definitely have see no evil going on. And once I got him taken care of, I got over here to Laura. So because of the things we talk about, she won't hear no evil. And because the other guy over here actually said BFE on national TV. So, George, what are you going to show us tonight?
Really cool. I'm going to talk about DVD-ROM drives. DVD-ROM drive is about twice the speed of CD-ROM drive, and you can do a story like 17 gigs of information. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to show you here what you can do. Does anybody need to borrow a pin? Because I got lots of pins. But I'm going to talk about DVD-ROM drives, because DVD-ROM drives are the most ultimate in computers, and you can just do so much with them. I can show you right here. I can just show you.
The guys in the office were kind of, Laura, they were thinking about, okay, what would our baby look like together, and how would it do? And through the magic of, photo programs and Photoshops, let me show you what the guys did. So let me show you this. There you go.
Oh, boy. That doesn't look...
I hope that's... You don't like that?
No.
Let me show you a close-up. You can see the family resemblance. Take a look at this. There, see that? My hairline and your beautiful face.
Dave, I got to bring this up. You're probably going to kill me for this, but in the break, you were telling me about getting photos in your email.
Yeah, we get, being...
We? What do you mean we? You mean you?
Well, Luis gets a couple pictures too, but when you're out there in a lot of homes,
Farm animals don't
people will email pictures to you, and it's great. We love getting pictures. You know, a lot of times I really look at the pictures, pay a lot of detail, check them out, and every now and then I'm the wild one. I'll like arrange a date, like go out and meet somebody who sends in a picture. Well, recently I really should have checked the picture. I really should have. But
You mean you went on a date before checking the picture
yeah,
out?
I don't know what I was thinking. You know, the picture was right there,
and you didn't look.
I'm kicking myself for not going back later.
Do we have that picture? We have to do this. Master Control, let's take a look at the picture that Dave got.
Did you guys get a hold of it? How did you get a hold of the
picture? Dave, you know what that is. In a great Southern term, that is what we call Southern coyote. You know what that is, Laura?
Coyote what?
Yeah, that is Southern term for coyote. Southern coyote. Coyote ugly is what that is.
Coyote ugly?
You never heard of coyote ugly? Do you know about coyotes? That's coyote ugly.
Okay.
When a coyote gets caught in a trap, a coyote, to get out of the trap, will literally chew its leg off.
Okay.
To get out of the trap. Coyote ugly means if you go out with a person like this and you end up extending the evening, should we say, and you wake up and she's laying on your arm, you chew it off not to wake her so you can get out. That's what coyote is, right?
The good thing is, I did not let it go that far. I just want you to know.
Jovan, that's when you drink enough. You drink enough to make it cute.
Laura, do you know why Dave gets email like that?
Why?
I'm gonna to 420 million homes.
Don't do it.
I'm going to show this. This is why Dave gets email like this. I've been threatening Dave to blackmail him on the air.
Oh, no.
But since we show his coal level in women is not too high, I'm going to show you why. Let's take a look at this, guys. Let's put this other photo up on the screen. Do we have it? Oh! Okay. Wait a minute. I got to explain this. Hang on. Do not remove that photo. No. This is on DaveMatthews.com. You click on it where it says you want a date. No, I'm kidding. This is Dave and his brother there in the middle. You saw him on our show about 30 seconds 2 years ago. But they threw a party where everybody had to wear a bikini, guys included. I said I would show that, Dave.
Hey, we love the bikini. We were celebrating our love for the bikini. Next year, I need more women in bikinis, less guys.
You are exactly right. I'm watching your comment. We had a fantastic time. So let me bridge a little bit of gaps here. Number one, you noticed we did our big event. We were still on our radio show doing what we do. That was Dave's brother. He choked on air. He came on our air one time for 30 seconds. And because everybody thinks they can do live TV. Live TV is bad enough. But keeping it rocking and rolling and going, and I'm also the director. I'm literally calling the shots. You'll watch my hand with producers and directors, letting them know what we're doing, where we're going. They had to keep up with us. Nothing was planned. Now, I'm going to show you one segment where we planned something. That's when we could really pull off really, really good gags. But nothing was planned. It was all spontaneous. A few things. Both gentlemen met their wives on the show. Crazy stuff. You get couples wanting to take you out. You get dates and all this other. I had a huge cast and crew. My co-host, Laura, if you caught on that, because we're talking about a baby, most people did not know that we were a couple. We got pregnant, got married in that order, and had a son. That's my son's mother. And so we had a hell of a ride. This is where a lot of my humor comes from, because I had to really push the envelope. We're talking technology, right? And we're literally just doing customer service online, but it's all about personalization, getting to know the people. Some of this, the internet's now getting more sophisticated. The commercial I'm going to show you next, just to kind of show you where the internet was headed at this time. There was a search engine out there called Lycos. It had a faster way to pull it in. It was separate. Everybody was doing the search engine war. There was Yahoo, Lycos, and I guess there was a couple of others. Google still wasn't on the scene yet in any big way. But everybody started to realize this internet thing's going to become a thing. And we were the go-to show to teach people how to use these things. And so we had really good results of getting people to sit down and understand make something that was very hard, that people were afraid of computers, didn't use them, to show you really how much fun you could have. And so that one thing, the photo gag, was so we could actually show people how Photoshop works, which is back when you got like 8 or 9 or 10 CDs to load Photoshop. But the internet had upgraded. It's coming into its age. Everybody knows it's here to stay. Everybody thought I was freaking crazy. ABC told me when I went in first to tell ABC, I'm going to turn this into a television show. ABC told me the internet's a fad. It will not stay around. It was only Fox that would take the risk on me. I was 32, folks. I was 32 years old, by the way, in doing that. So the next commercial I'm going to show you is for Lycos. David Duchovny from X-Files. This is actually his dog. And his dog is a golden retriever. His brother shot the commercial. And it was just to try to explain why theirs was fast. You notice the dog is no longer blonde because they heavily dyed it and it looks perfect. But this is the upgrade that soon started coming out, promoting, the internet as the cool. So I want you to watch the spot. You'll love it. I'm readjusting my screen just so you know, because a lot of these are still 640 by 480 and stuff like that. We really hadn't gone HD in these. Plus, I had to get them from the internet, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But here you go. This was the Lycos commercial.
Lycos, go get it. Lycos, sorry, go get it.
Unleash the new Lycos, and the internet is at your command. So, no matter what you're looking to retrieve, Lycos will hunt it down quicker and easier.
Lycos, go get it.
Hi, I'm Claudia.
Good boy.
That was the shortcut to explain to people, now that there was content there and now you could find things, we had to explain what a search engine was. The term was fetch, that you could go fetch and get it. And so that's why the dog was used. Now I'm going to the last little bit. I'm going to show you, warning, we had a phenomenal run. When I first went to Fox, it was a 70-30 deal. I had 70%. They had 30%. They were struggling to sell commercials in the Dallas marketplace for about $60 a pop for a 30-second commercial. That was really good for them. My show, I could sell the commercials, 30-second commercials that I own. They own 30% of the commercials. I own 70%. I could sell them for $600 a pop to $1,000 a pop. And Microsoft was paying me $10,000 an episode back then just to utter their name because we had so much pull. They were trying to beat Netscape. We won the war. It only took us about 60 days to do. Netscape had 97% of the browser market. We launched with that Dallas West End. That's how we proved to them we could do it. And what happened is within actually a 90-day period after that, Netscape was gone and it just took over the marketplace. So this is the final little bit. We went on making television history to become the either 41st or 42nd longest running episodic show in history. I stepped down off the air July 4th weekend 2000 after pretty much 300 episodes doing the show. You could watch us everywhere. I controlled the show. When I went back to renew with Fox, Fox says, we get 70%, you get 30%. I said, fuck you. And I walked. CBS took me. And then CBS couldn't get it out fast enough. Then I jumped to ABC. But since I controlled the show, you could watch me everywhere. So you could literally watch us every single day of the week somewhere. Because if you weren't watching ABC and didn't see us then, you were probably watching Comedy Central. You were probably watching all these other ones. We self-syndicated PBS and everything else. Here's some of the raunchy fun we would have. Cover your ears. But this is one of the best events. This is the Christmas party episode before Y2K. And just letting you know, if you remember Y2K was going to go out, we did a whole countdown to Y2K. I don't have it. I couldn't put it together in this reel. And we're getting ready to go. And I was explaining everybody in Y2K that, we're about a minute ahead of you, about 2 minutes ahead of you. We're on a tape delay. That's for TV. And I convinced everybody of that. And then 2 minutes in the markets where we ran at midnight, we shut off everything and went black and pulled the war prank. But here you go. You'll like this last little bit. Here you go.
Checking out Net Talk Live. Okay.
Oh, by the way, number one, we moved from that studio with an audience. We had a band. Then we moved to a much bigger studio. We had a live swing band, much more information and stuff. All of these used to be on the internet. And when I got into this political stuff, YouTube and Google wiped my entire television career. Everything I'd ever done, every show, every commercial. You'll see David Hasselhoff in Baywatch. Y'all have seen shots of me, directing at the Baywatch. They wiped all history of me in the industry when I came out as a conservative. I'll re-archive it at some time here in the future where you can see it. But here we go. We're going to do this last little segment. I just want to explain that.
Checking out Net Talk Live. Okay.
And you can change it.
Hey, it's Lisa Gibbons here checking out Net Talk Live, and you should too.
I've got Uncle Booger's Bumper Dumper.
Uncle Booger's Bumper Dumper.
That's exactly right.
Is that what I think it is? Is that a toilet seat that hooks to the trailer hitch?
That's right. There's a little dumper on the back of the truck, and it actually, there's actually a special right now. If you order now, you get 5 bags free.
I've seen this before.
Yes, it's awesome.
You go to the site, you order the Bumper Dumper, you get 5 free bags if you order online. I'm the economical web shopper I am.
Of course.
I dug into this site. I wanted to find you the best bargain I could find. I found if you dig, you can get 10 more free bags. That's 15 bags total. If you don't mind using a slightly used bag, you can actually get of the 3 bags. You can. It's
no. Oh my! You are.
What are the little bumps on it?
I'm fine, thank you.
You've gone to a whole new
level.
Is that corn? I guess I gotta throw it out. I don't have any corn in my teeth, do I? Oh! Hang tight. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff. I watched Net. Rescue! I'm coming. Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, and I watch Net Talk Live. You should too.
Hi guys, I have Connie Alma, and she is from Hartford, Connecticut, and she has a question for her favorite man on the show. Connie?
Hi, Louise, cutie pie.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of getting junk email on my computer. Is there a way that I can get rid of it before it's downloaded into my computer?
Louise, can you help her out?
You are the stud muffin. Whew. Okay. How would you answer that?
What was she asking?
Oh.
Okay, there is a way that you can delete spam.
She said she's tired of receiving junk email, would like you to send her some hunk email, and come to her house and download to her
I'm not allowed to answer the questions asked by our viewers.
We all actually filled out, hey, Christmas list, and we went from wackety weird and the whole bit.
That's right.
Having fun and stuff. And Dave would have to be something geeky, right?
Of course. Dave is the kind of gadgety, geeky guy that wants to be like Bill Gates and get a rich, hip, cool, gadgety gift. So.
Oh, that'd be good because, being a geek is hip and cool now. That's what you need to do.
And rich now.
Okay, so Santa, what did you bring the gadge?
A Porsche convertible 911.
He got me a 1999 Porsche Cabriolet convertible, 6-cylinder, almost 300 horsepower. Besides the accessories, we got you the ultimate geek accessory. Take a look at this. All you do is hop in the car, slide under this accessory, get out on the highway, and cruise.
Oh, no.
Down the highway.
No.
Right on in there, Dave. Take a look.
No.
Oh,
See?
come on,
Okay. I appreciate the gift, guys, but, donkeys, and then Georgia gets... Donkeys? Actually, a donkey and goat. And then Dave gets a car with an accessory? No. See, I'm going to invest my powers, and I'm going to make a change to that accessory. So let me show you what I think the accessory is.
What are you talking about, That is definitely a change to an accessory. That is vindicated. Dave, start it up. Take it out here, Dave. Go ahead.
Now, Santa, I know you were saying something about Jovan fitting at his family reunions and being the ultimate outdoors man.
What'd you get him? Well, what I got for Jovan was two things. One, something to make him fit in at his family reunion, and since he's a great outdoors guy.
Oh, no.
No.
No. Oh, you got Uncle Booger's bumper.
You're hooking it to the trailer. It's more Jovan than I wanted to drive around and take care of business.
Oh, no.
Anyway, folks, have a great Christmas. And God bless you. We love you. Take care from the country. Make it a nice holiday season. We love you. Bye-bye.
We are to it over had a very shiny nose, and this year the sky really faded away. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names, but they never let go. Joining in the reindeer game, and one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the rain.
So we ended up doing, I think, the final number. It's some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. We pushed it. The 90s was great. We had to find a way to get people to embrace this thing called the internet. And yeah, the little Caddyshack duty thing. And that was my hillbilly thing. You noticed that my prosthetic teeth were there. We did incredible things. Like there was a website, you'll see it one day where, if you go watch the series, we get them all back up where you can watch them. You could order lottery tickets that somebody would scratch off. There were $29. You'd get 3, and they were lottery tickets, but they were $1 million winning lottery tickets, but they were total horseshit bullshit. And we used to pass those suckers out and watch people freak out over winning $1 million. We did a reunion show. And I'll try to find that. Mike, who was the Coyote Ugly photo, one of my best beloved friends, the ugly Chihuahua camera, that was Mike. Mike was the blonde. You had the hot blonde in the car, and then we swap it in the edit, and it was Mike coming up, doing his thing. We lost Mike, I guess, 2 years ago to AIDS. Great guy. Heavy heroin user when we started him years and years before, but got his stuff together. One of the people I just love together. Yes, I still have those legs. It was fun. It was just some of the fun. And what we were able to do is to take a very hard subject and get people to understand the vision of what would happen in computing and the internet and whatever. And we had to try to weed all these things together and let people know that computing is going to become, Mike Simeone was his name. Just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guy. We ended up being his family. His family rejected him because he was gay. Never talked to him again. Didn't show up at his funeral, anything. We had a really, really good family going. There is the ability to do that type of show again today. Right now, I'm pretty close to riding the edge in politics and doing it. Now you see where my humor comes from. We were competing at late night. You know, we'd follow, write the news. We followed in most markets and politically incorrect, but we had a fun run. In the Dallas Live West End event where you saw us, you couldn't see the big pictures way down. They go all the way down the streets. That was the night. I'm filming that thing with all those people there. Some of you know the story where a laser hit my forehead for somebody looking to take a shot. And security had to whisk me out of there. That's when I really started having trouble with stalkers and stuff, which changed my life forever. And so this was a lot of fun, right? And I only did this because we brought it up this morning. And I said, I got to do that. Facebook and all those guys obliterated my history, and all kinds of stuff, and all the celebrities I worked with. I've worked with some of the best celebrities in the world, doing what I do. You just never knew it was this guy behind the scene that helped them to do it. And so I'll get that back up on one day. I want to let you know, folks, I want to remind you, I'm about to hop over to Locals. I am going to share exclusively with Local. These are for my people in Locals, Arizona subpoena stuff. Exactly why you ask for certain things when it comes to a subpoena, which has to come from the Attorney General. I'm going to take you through from an investigative level of how to do it. Remember, I've always been digging deep in technology. Everything is forensics. My patent work is forensic. Even my history is forensic work. That's why I'm so uniquely qualified for what I do. Anyway, I just thought y'all would like that retrospective, even at the mere standpoint of how far we've come. Now we're on the opposite side of it. They have become the evil companies owned by big investors and foreign governments and stuff. But this political work changed my telemetry. What I mean by that is when I came out as a conservative, because I never talked about it before, you just don't do that in the television or technology world. And you can even see, listen to me now talking to you, and I'm making fun of him saying BFE. We couldn't even say that acronym on the air, BFE for Bumfuck Egypt. It was $1,000 fine going out nationally, right? And if you can't beep it, it's just whatever. And so that's how far we've digressed also at the same time. But we had a beautiful time doing it. I'm glad I could share it with each of you. Many more times than you can imagine. Many more times you can imagine. Racism, there was no racism. Look, that's the 90s. We embraced it, what it was, who you were, whatever. This stuff that they've manufactured, that you couldn't be gay, or you're going to be this, or you're going to be harassed, you're going to be this, or you're a minority. I've always blended it all. And I didn't have to be taught about, what do they call it? Not integration, but I'm having a brain fart. What's the word? Anyway, that's just the way it was. That is just the way it was. And when we got into 2000, technologies changed it. We all used to really get along great and well, no matter where you were coming from, folks. And so history has changed that. Beth, you got a dose of what most people have, inclusion, that's it, of most people have never seen. But that was my career. That's what got me into tech. That's what led me to my patent career, led me to the stuff that you now use on every mobile device in the world. 15 billion mobile devices in the world use my technology portfolio on them. It was doing that work that led me to it. I didn't need to realize I've never done cocaine, heroin, or anything like that. And I didn't drink. Survived it all, right? My bull cut just grew back after this, Jovan. My hair changed. Why you saw my hair change? You remember you saw me dark hair, super curly, whatever. Too late, too little. Wearing it back in a ponytail and keeping my curls under control started to make my hair really thin. When you jump to a national audience, because it's a lot of different angles, and you see it's a lot of high angles, I went to blonde hair because it changes the contrast between your skin and scalp, and it's harder to see through, right? That's it. Anyway, it was a really funny love. Yes, I've been to Caligula. I saw when you said earlier all the different ones. Yep, I went to Caligula many times. Anyway, so head over to Locals. Give me a potty break. It's going to be a very serious, candid discussion. You're going to see some heat turned up on Runback, and you're not going to want to miss it. Folks, I love you all. Take care. Y'all have a good night, okay? Y'all have a good night, and it was really fun doing this, and I'll see you over at Locals.